Basement, level vibes with another one, straight up, blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop.
This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you, so call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Are you confident that you're going to deliver credible and fair elections?
Of course. Only one way I know. And
oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime area.
I don't want to have anything at all to communicate with him about. I don't want him to tell me morning. I'm not telling him morning. Not only not talking to him, not answering the phone. I'm telling you, that is how I...
All right. Hey, good evening. It's 13 minutes after 9 o'clock in Georgetown. Guyana, the time is, of course, a different time zone wherever you are. But I quickly put this helicopter up there to ask a question. You have private entities that are connected to the corrupt PPP regime, Jagdeo and all those hooligans. Private entity. Every minute you're hearing a new helicopter, and absolutely nothing for the military. We're beginning to wonder, why is it that Jagdeo and the PPP, they are more comfortable ensuring that these private security firms are well equipped with the best helicopters, so to speak, well, better than what they have in the GDF right now, and guns and ammunition. Look around. Look at all those folks with the big guns, the big guns. And the Guyana Defense Force and the police force, they get some rusty metals. But then again, when they want to bring in some weapons, guess what? They give their friends and their cronies, and we know who their friends and their cronies are. Give their friends and their cronies. Guyana is, as they say on social media, Guyana is not a real place. I'm sorry that I'm saying it like that. I should add some sort of juice to it. But Guyana, how can I say it? So that all of you could understand, especially those of you who have spent donkey years outside of Guyana. I mean that with the most loving way, mind you. Guyana is not a real place. Under the PPP regime, Guyana is not a real place. I wish I can hear some of your voices, and maybe later on social media will have a way, instead of typing, you can just do a voice note right here in the comment section, and I'll hear some of you and some of your rusty voice. Hey, Guyana is not a real place, like Janice Booker and all those other Bookers from Buxton. You don't jump on any one of those Buxton ladies' case, all of them gang up on you. Whether they get along with each other or not, for that particular moment, all of them gang up on you. Good evening to all of you. It's Thursday, just a few days before that big day, right? Christmas Day. Man, I don't know, for some reason my folks pull a fast one on me about Santa Claus, and now it's deja vu because I got to pull a fast one on my kids. But at some point in time, maybe the next generation will start to man up and be more honest with our kids and let them know that Santa Claus doesn't come through no damn chimney or anything like that. We are the Santa Claus. We push things there and letters and all these nonsense. I hope my kids are not listening or watching, if you know what I mean, right? But Christmas is around the corner, so we got to pretend as though we're writing letters and Santa Claus coming down the chimney and all manner of things. But all right, sorry about that. I got a bit carried away here. Look, thank you guys for sharing the link, man. We've been together for the entire year. All of us, we got along. Some of them got thrown into the trench accidentally. They swell their face, they long up their mouth, they go and complain to people about me, and they say something, and Mark didn't like it, and Mark delete them, and all manner of things. So it has been a roller coaster kind of year for me, but for the most part, and the good part is that 95% of you remain with me, with us, right here on 107.1 FM. All of you, we just love you guys, and we appreciate what you guys have done. We stuck together. We disagree, we agree, but we all got along. Some of them long up the mouth and they're gone. You don't see them back in the comment section, but they're peeping. You know, like that guy from Grenada, everybody peeping. They're peeping, right? They're peeping even though they don't join us, they're peeping us. But look, we get far more important things to talk about, but we appreciate even the peepers. Yes, we do. All right. Hey, guess what? What is happening? I saw some of the comments about this orangutan. I saw some of the comments. Oh, you know, you cannot do this. Because people have their ways, people have their views. And if people say that this guy got go along your way, just go along your way, well, so be it. So be it. The same people who are saying, oh, you guys have to have a heart. Well, I'm not saying anything. I just have one black me say who got their way, who got their way. That's not me to say that. But boy, y'all ain't gonna get me praying for certain people. I'm telling y'all straight up about it. I ain't praying for certain people. You know. All right, give that a kiss. Quickly. Kiss. All right, just now. That is live on the air. Santa Claus. Close the door for that, please. Yep. I got you, sweetheart. Close the door, please. See, I told you guys about the Santa Claus, and I had to whisper and all manner of things. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back on Straight Up. We'll be back. Wayne Caesar is going to be on with us, but we'll be back.
Basement level vibes with another one. Straight up blackness, aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Brenscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Brenscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Brenscop, straight up from the root. Mark Brenscop, who tell the truth? Mark Brenscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Brenscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Brenscop, straight up from the root. Mark Brenscop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Brenscop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see.
All right, for those of you who are now joining us, this, it reminds me of long time, man. Long time, you couldn't do certain things. The parents don't yell at you and all manner of things. They dig a hole up on you. You got come out the office, come out. But, times have changed, and I'm a different guy. I'm a different kind of father, We all should love our kids, and we should always take that time out because we get all big. They get big quickly. So pay that attention, pay that time to them. But couldn't dig a hole up on her. I had to go get her. She wanted something to drink. She loves her dad. She loves her parents, yes. Anyways, yeah. So let's move on. Wayne Caesar is going to be on. He's getting dressed. We try to get Lemon as well because we want to get Lemon's views on things. But what is bothering you guys? That's what I want to hear. What are some of the things bothering you guys as we prepare to go into 2024? Talk to me. I'm reading your comments and so forth. Tell me what's going on. What is on your mind? Other than the fact that the police force, senior members of the police force are basically doing political jobs. They are basically persecuting people. They're going after political opponents. It's as though they expect that you go after one, two. They went after a bunch of folks in Guyana: Rhonda Lane, Malcolm Harry Paul, Brian Max, everybody they just went after folks. Brian Max is a bit quiet. We hope that he's recovering because the PPP goons actually put some serious beating on Brian Max. That is what happened. These are the things that happen under the PPP regime. They go out, they beat people, they jail people, they kill people, all manner of things they do. They jail people, they beat people, they kill people. People got to run away. They try to go after people. They corrupt situations. They corrupt the country. That is how Guyana is running right now. It's all about the dollars, all about. And they would stop at nothing to ensure that they go after and they do what they have to do to violate the rights of citizens. That is what the PPP does. And it's as though you cannot speak out. You can't even say Jagdeo is a cross. Jagdeo is a hooligan. You can't say these sort of things because Jagdeo bumps raise, like those. It's cold in here. Yeah. His bumps raise. You can't. Who the hell is Jagdeo? Jagdeo, who the hell are you? A little wimp? That you feel that people ought to be afraid of you? People can't talk about you? People can't talk about the PPP? Who the hell is this guy? Who the hell is that penny? That penny, half of a human being, gangster that they have in Guyana, that anybody who speaks about them, look at what happened. Of course, we are not naive. We are not that gullible to believe that Brian Max started to speak out. He attacked Barra Jagdeo by offering his opinion, and then suddenly Brian Max get beat up with a baseball bat, licks like peas, bust up the man's head. The guy, they wanted him dead. That's it. And then Malcolm Harry Paul now did the same thing. Malcolm has his opinion about the army and about who should be joining. And Malcolm said that why the PPP supporters don't go and join the army, the Guyana Defense Force, to help fight Venezuela. And it's a crime. Oh, it's a big crime, right? And so they visited Malcolm's house. They surrounded his house. They locked him up and they charged him. They charged him because he has an opinion. Nobody can have an opinion. That flatfoot hustler Jagdeo, nobody can have an opinion. His bumps raise. High. But like the lady with the cost of living say, I. His bumps raise, I. Because he get vexed. You guys remember what he did and what he said about Chris Gayle, right? Chris Gayle got to go in put Chris Gayle in the book. Oh, Chris Gayle. He got upset. He was hurt. He was literally crying. All because Chris Gayle went to Linden during the course of the elections, and Chris Gayle met with a lot of people. People know Chris Gayle. Chris Gayle is a popular cricketer. Yes, cricket. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. I thought it was for a moment. It was because West Indies cricket really changed, right? But people know Chris Gayle. But because he wants to own every man in Guyana, every strapping man in Guyana, he's upset with. As long as you're 6'5", well, I don't know. I'm about 5'10", 5'10 and a half, or 10 a quarter. But every man 6 foot and over, he's obsessed with them. He gets vexed with them. He vexed with Chris Gayle. He vexed with this other man. He vexed with Malcolm Harry Paul, who's over 6. All these things. Every man he's vexed with. He's annoyed with. He's now annoyed with Rickford Burke. I don't know what's it, Every single man, every man. Lincoln Lewis is over 6'4" or 6'3". He vexed with Lincoln. Every every strong, strapping black man. Well, Harry Paul also. But he's also annoyed with men who are like 5'10", 5'11", like me. I could stand up and let you guys. But guys like the other guys are short. They're short men to me, like Brian Max and them, right? But he's fixated with men. He's annoyed if he can't control you, if he can't hold your hand, if he can't chat to you and rub you like what he does, Critic. And all these are because Critic are birds of a feather together. Sorry about that. Birds of a feather. And so Critic, he would love Critic because Critic is soft, like a pussycat. And he loves those kind of soft men, but tough men who can stand up and tell him to go to hell. He doesn't like that. He gets nervous. His bumps raise and all. So nobody can talk about him. Nobody can talk about the PPP. Oh, it's like it's blasphemy you're committing. Oh. And Irfaan Ali is basically the same thing now. And it is a dangerous trend. It's a dangerous situation in Guyana where these Paku, these Moko Jumbies, believe that you can't talk about them, you can't criticize them. They get upset, they get vexed, that they are the only ones could talk about people. They are the only ones that could criticize people. Look at what he did to Dr. David Hines in Buxton and all the manner of things. They are the only ones that could commit acts of terrorism in Guyana. Look at what they did at the Pegasus. Shook the minister's car, then Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Karen Cummings, shook her car with her driver inside, about to overturn it and kill those people in the car. That is what they were about, because anytime you have a group of thugs surround the vehicle, cussing up as they were doing and all manner of stuff, the people's lives are in danger. Anything can happen and they could be killed. And that is how these guys operate. They put people's lives in danger. They can say anything. Listen to this Paku Bara Jagdeo.
Right across Ghana, when the ministers of Granger or Nagamutu come here after the 21st of March, you say to them, walk behind them, chase them out, they're going to be illegal. Say to them, you're illegal.
Yeah, but they don't want anybody to say walk behind them. Walk behind them and chase them out. That this PPP regime is illegal. They don't like that. They don't want that. And so people should walk behind them, or whenever they go to communities, people should chase them out. People have a right to do that. And Jagdeo and those goons in the PPP are not the only one who can say that. Others are entitled to their opinions. Not that everybody in the country got to embrace these Pakus, these corrupt individuals in the PPP, and feel that it is democratic or it's democracy only when you embrace them. Who says that? Who wants that as any form of democracy? Who wants their country to be like that? Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. In the United States, we could go in front of the White House and say whatever we got to say. All manner of things. All manner of things. But in Guyana, Jagdeo and this puppet, these puppets that we have there, they believe that they're the only ones who can say all manner of things. But look, these Pakus do not allow them to muzzle you at all. It is your democratic rights to speak out. It is your democratic rights to say whether you like a government or not. And in this case, majority of Guyanese do not like the PPP regime, the installed PPP regime. They do not like them at all, period. And the PPP is panicking because they know very well that come next elections, they are gone with the wind. They are going to be voted out. But all manner of things they're trying, all kind of things they're trying to persecute people, to intimidate people, to drive fear in people's minds and to make people feel that, hey, you can't say this because if you say this, the government, the so-called government might come after you and all manner of things. What is Guyana? A little Russia? Is Guyana a little North Korea that you've got to be afraid to speak out? Who the hell is Bara Jagdeo? Who the hell is Irfaan Ali? That you've got to be afraid to speak out. You got to be, who the hell are those people? Two mudfoot rubber slippers individuals believe that they are God sent to Guyana and people must worship them. Come on, who are these little nutcase they have there? These penny hustlers who have become leaders of Guyana, so-called leaders of Guyana. If you're now joining us, good evening and welcome. My name is Mark Benshaw. Yes, I'm trying to tell you guys to be brave. That is what they do. They when you're brave, they send their goons after you. They have done it a lot in Guyana, and we have seen the most ruthless days were under, and bloodiest days were under the PPP regime, under Jagdeo's presidency. And these are the people who love to talk about Bornam. Bornam was a dictator. We couldn't do this under Bornam, and we starved under Bornam. Be this under Bornam. Be this and you this and be this. Bornam did this. Some of them, when you ask them what Bornam did to you, Bornam starved Abby. And crimes were this and people were kicking down Abby door and beat Abby and kill Abby and all manner of things. And then when you ask some of them, what year were you born? Me born 1991 by 1991 you were born, and Bornam did all of that to you, right? All of that to you. But compared to the 23 years of the PPP, Guyana was a hellhole, and it still is a hellhole under the PPP regime. We saw improvements. Those who are not going to want to admit that are those who are penny hustlers now. They're running to get a little contract. They're running to suck up to Jagdeo, and he likes that. And Irfaan Ali, and he likes that now too. He's enjoying that sort of sucking up. They love that. And that is how the country is running right now. There's no democracy. There's no real democracy in Guyana. None whatsoever. And this dotish remark from the police force that says, oh, just like they sent a police from Guyana, accompanied by a server from over here to go by Rickford Berg's house, and did whatever they did there. They're saying, hear what they said in that last paragraph, that people like me and maybe others and so forth, we're supposed to tremble, or at least they tremble. Oh, the police say if we only say anything about them, they're gonna, who cares? Who gives? So most of those senior police officers are under investigations by U.S. law enforcement agencies. U.S. law enforcement agencies know that quite a few of them in the top brass of the guided police force are in bed with drug lords and money launderers. They know that. They know what's going on, right? So it's not like those guys are so perfect. Some of them are criminals in the Guyana police force. Now, they're not going to send the policemen to go and arrest people who are accused of murders and all these things and drug dealings. They're not going to send the people them for that. No, but they are going to book a flight for a policeman, a police officer, send him all the way to America so that he can come and issue some little piece of paper with some dotishness on it and some possibly some trumped up charges on it to give to Burke. And they feel that, oh, people must be afraid. Oh, they can do, just rip it up and dash it away. You know, I know that policeman Sarabu visited me quite a few times out in Guyana. Sarabu is being used. Sarabu, I repeat, Sarabu is being used by the PPP. It is the same Sarabu that during the investigation of, thank you, Lemon. Lemon said that we have Wayne Caesar with us. We found him back. It's Christmas time. I was waiting until Christmas Day to fire him, but he does a lot of good work here. We appreciate him. So there will be no firing of Wayne Caesar. And we salute you, sir. Check outside if somebody's by your door. No, nobody's by your door. Yeah. So during the investigation of in allegations that were made, by Detective Sergeant Dion Bascom, Detective Sergeant Bascom outlined to all of us on social media about allegations of cover-up and corruption in the Guyana police force. Right away, they went after this guy, right away. And when they went after him, they removed Sarabu from a particular area of the investigation, a particular area at CID. They removed him with immediate effect because they didn't trust him. And so my question is, all of a sudden they trust Sarabu to have Sarabu book a flight, travel to the US, spend 4 days in the US to ensure that he served Rickford Burke with 2 pieces of paper or whatever with some trumped up charges on it. That is what they're doing with taxpayers' monies. But they have guys who are wanted by US law enforcement agencies right there in Guyana who are disguised as businessmen who gave donations to the Guyana police force. Some of the policemen, you're going to see Christmas time, they might do it discreetly now, line up in front of some corrupt businessmen's offices, collecting money, collecting crumbs, and all these sort of things. Some of these senior police officers, their kids get cars, their kids get all manner of things from corrupt businessmen, from drug lords and so forth in the country. Some of these senior policemen, you should see the houses that they built by what? Corrupt money that they got from drug lords, and some of them cover up and take big money for more, cover up murder cases and all manner of things. That is what is happening. But I've said enough for now. Let's welcome Mr. Wayne Caesar, looking like a guy, CID rank. I don't know what's going on. That tie, those CID ranks wear those ties. Wayne, I looked for a moment. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, yeah. How are you doing, sir?
Mark, I'm doing very well, thank you. I hope you're doing fine. Pleasant good evening to all our listeners and viewers. It's good to be here.
Yep, it's really good to see you. But what's going on? What's your take on the PPP, the corrupt vagabonds in the PPP attempting to shut people up? Shut people up. Your take, sir.
Well, Mark, let me first start off by saying there's a lot of issues right in Guyana to be addressed, and to take taxpayers' money to send a police officer to the United States for 4 days to serve Mr. Rickford Burke. It just shows, Mark, that the activism that is taking place on social media, amongst other places, is really hitting the government very hard and in the right places. And this wouldn't be if the government was doing right to begin with, and if there wasn't something to cover up, or if they wasn't guilty of something, then there would be no need, to spend that amount of money sending an officer over here to serve Mr. Rickford Burke. And Mark, let me be frank here, because I've been analyzing this, and they can be no really, I don't see any grounds for extradition, but what I see can happen here, Mr. Benchop, is that they can place these charges against Rickford Burke, and if he ever comes to Guyana, then they're going to try to institute them. But outside of that,
the charges have already been instituted. The question is about extradition and so forth. And Shalon Washington, the attorney, should be on tomorrow to speak on that. But it's just basically to intimidate. They do not want, whether it's Burke, whether it's whomever, they do not like when people tickle them with the facts, with the truth. And Jagdeo doesn't like to be tickled in that sense, because it annoys the living daylight out of him. And that is what it's about. It's a personal vendetta when they go after individuals.
Well, Mark, you got to understand this. In a way, the Guyanese people are somewhat responsible for building the monster called Barra Jagdeo. Listen, he's a spoiled child. He's not accustomed being checked. And that's what we've been doing. We've been checking him, and we've been finding him out and seeing that, a lot of stuff that he talks is a bundle of nonsense. I had some time and sat down and listened to the press conference. I didn't watch it. I listened because I was busy working also, and I'm not going to look at the press conference to see Barra Jagdeo's face. But that being said, all I could have heard in the press conference, Mark, is we, the PPP, we. When is this PPP regime going to understand that the opposition makes up a part of the government also, and you guys should be working somewhat as a collective? Not only on border issues, Mark, but try to work on most issues. Because when you say we, PPP, you're talking about a fraction of the country. You know, so listen, this whole thing is just to scare off anybody who is speaking out against the government. But listen, Mark, we have to remember that governments are elected by people. And if people are not pleased with government, they have a right to speak out. You can't take the heat, don't go in the kitchen. Okay, the PPPC has been atrocious, flat out. Let's be flat out here. This regime has been atrocious. Okay, they're not people-centric, they're transactional. So what you think people are going to do? People are going to come out and they're going to speak up against government because they don't like what they see. And they should be able to handle the constructive criticism, try to do better, you know, and move forward. But don't look to persecute people. Don't look to have people extradited for trial and all this kind of nonsense. You know, put some policies in place that benefits the Guyanese people. Go to work for the people. Stop this tit for tat nonsense. And that is what Barry Jagdeo does. He plays tit for tat. Nobody don't have time for that. Let's address the Guyanese.
It's little girls' games, and not even little girls play that any longer. But he plays this little girls' sort of games. He believes that Guyana is a big dolly house, and he is playing dolly house politics. It is a shame and it's a disgrace. If Bara Jagdeo can't take the heat in the kitchen, then he has to get out of the kitchen. If he can't take the water from the ocean, he's got to get out of the ocean. If he can't take the wood from the forest, then just don't go in the forest. Good evening to all of you. If you're now joining us, my name is Mark Benchap, together with Wayne Caesar. Wayne, as we touch on, because a while back, Bara Jagdeo did say publicly, and obviously he has a problem with social media. If they had their way to get rid of social media, they will do just that. But social media is hurting them big time. They cannot control social media. They cannot control social media commentators. And the objective of Jagdeo is to point the political gun in the direction of social media commentators in order to intimidate them. I hope that the social media commentators and the social media activists and so forth are not going to allow anything that Jagdeo does or say to affect them in no way, shape, or form. All right. So what else is happening that we can touch on? Today happens to be the death anniversary of not the death anniversary. My apologies. Today happens to be, I'm sorry, a slip of the tongue. Yeah. So today happens to be the anniversary of which this guy, who is currently on his deathbed, actually, in the opinions of lots of people, fraudulently brought the coalition down, even after the coalition gave him an opportunity to be a real man and to go into parliament, to be a real professional and to shine some positive light in his direction. He turned around and he just bit the hands that were feeding him, the Guyanese people. Even knowing that he was committing a fraud by being a citizen of Canada and sitting in parliament, knowing very well the Constitution says that you cannot hold citizenship and sit in parliament. All manner of corruption, and we have seen it all under the PPP. This guy, Charamdas, is tonight on his deathbed, but today happens to be the day that he yelled out, yes, 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 in parliament, and it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Mr. Caesar, what bright future you see in Guyana with a year and a half remaining for this PPP regime? What bright future do you see?
Well, Mark, I don't see a bright future under the current installed government, because when you talk about future, Mark, we're talking about people here. We're talking about human capital. Okay, we're not talking about tall buildings and infrastructure. You know, we're talking about people when we're talking about future. So this government is not a people-centric government. So it's obvious that there's not going to be a bright future for Guyanese under this government. You know, the installed Vice President Barry Jagdeo was talking to the artist press conference about oil and the way oil wealth is used, and it's because of careless usage of the oil wealth, careless management of the oil wealth in other countries that have those countries remain poor after, they would have found oil in those places. But if he looks at his government, I think the management of the Guyanese oil patrimony has been horrible. Horrible. We know that we weren't educated on oil before, but like I would have said, Mark, on other shows, to begin with, we should have had our exports prepped years in advance of oil. This was never done by both parties, but more so the PPPC. They were the party that was in power for 23 straight years. They should have had these things in place, but it was not in place, right? And when we look at the construct of the PPP and how they approach things, Mark, it is more so from a business perspective. It has nothing to do with people. So when we talk about patrimony and people, that is far-reaching for the PPPC. They don't understand that language. They understand transaction, corruption, business among friends and families and favorites. That's what they understand. You have to go into their circle in order to get something. All right. And going into that circle, Mark, there's a lot of requirements, right? So the Guyanese people are leave on the outside looking in. Finally something happened in their favor where oil is discovered. But look, they're in the same boat, Mark. They have nothing to get. Our pensioners are punishing. Inflation, cost of living is through the roof, but yet, we are paying Mercury and these places to go out in Washington and lobby for us. We're paying to send police officers to shut up political activists. And we're doing all these things. Why, Mark? Because the installed government is guilty. And listen, the only type of government that seeks to shut people up, Mark, are the ones that are dictatorships. So, hey, I lay it in front of you. My opinion, the PPPC is a dictatorship. Let's go.
Everybody sees that not only a dictatorship, it's a corrupt entity. It's a mafia, a semi-mafia entity that basically go after political opponents, go after individuals who don't fall in line with them. And that is what they're doing. Dangerous times in Guyana under the PPP regime. There are lots of folks who are wanted by U.S. law enforcement agencies. And I wish to repeat that again, that the PPP, Jagdeo and Irfaan are protecting. Why are they protecting those individuals? Only God knows, but I know you, the Guyanese people, as well, are aware as to why. Now, let's get back to this guy here, Charan Das. I've seen some comments on other Facebook page and so forth. People want individuals to just be sympathetic. Now, nobody has a right to force anybody to be sympathetic towards anything or any situation. And so when the same people who want people to be sympathetic for this guy now, they weren't doing so when they were calling on death for members of the opposition, when they were calling for the death of David Granger and all manner of things, when they were talking about poisoning out persons on the opposition side, mainly persons of African descent. Nobody was saying that let us be nice and let us have a good heart. And so they want people now to fall in line. And because this guy, we are hearing that he was supposedly poisoned. I don't know if the PPP is guilty of this or not. I don't know. I'm repeating, I don't know if any senior member of the PPP actually organized the poisoning, if in fact he was poisoned. I don't know. But these are questions that we have to ask. We see some bumps on his hand. Surely wasn't burned by Kaz Rip. But one of the things, though, that I want to remind people that not so long ago, many of them were silent on this particular situation when this guy, this little rattlesnake guy, Charan Das, was in India, sitting there as Guyana's High Commissioner to India as a big payoff job for what he did in Parliament. This is what he did to a woman out in India. And I want to remind those so-called self-righteous individuals, let them listen to this recording. This is Charan Das Prasad when he was Guyana's or the PPP's High Commissioner to India?
Are you any better? No. You're throwing out a helpless dog? What helpless dog? I don't need a dog in my yard, all right? Okay. You want a dog, take it, put it between your legs. You little bastard. No, you probably want the dog to fuck you. That's what you want. I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care who the hell you are. Fuck you. Yeah, dekha. Now listen to me. You're drunk. Don't let any woman come in my yard. You're bloody drunk. Hello. You like the camera? They don't understand English. Speak in English. Chalo, tum chalo.
So this wasn't too long ago, you know. That was the energy he had in cursing that woman. All manner of things. She wants the dog between bab, whatever. All these things, right? And look where he is today. Look where he is today. And not so long ago, this was how he treated that woman in India as Guyana's High Commissioner to India. An embarrassment.
Are you any better? No. You're throwing out a helpless dog? What helpless dog? I don't need a dog in my yard, all right? Okay. You want a dog, take it, put it between your legs. You little bastard. No, you probably want the dog to fuck you. That's what you want. I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care who the hell you are. Fuck you. Yeah, dekha. Now listen to me. You're drunk. Don't let any woman come in my yard. You're bloody drunk. Hello. You like the camera? They don't understand English. Speak in English. Chalo, tum chalo.
Well, it is what is it. Caribbean Tech One. That's all. Caribbean Tech One. Story done. Wayne Caesar. There are other things that we should be discussing other than these Nimak.
Well, Mark, I just want to, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah. Well, listen. This guy.
If you're offering a word of prayer, please do it.
No. Not at all. Mark, there's a saying, right? Mark, there's a saying. When you make your bed hard, you have to lay in it, right? Okay? So he made his bed. He made his bed. When this guy stood up and he said, yes, yes, yes. Okay? First of all, he deceived his colleagues. He deceived his party. And it was a selfish decision, you know, because he never thought of the Guyanese people when he made that decision. Remember, we're coming out of 23 years straight of the PPP. He knows what they gave. So he knows when he made that decision, he knew what the repercussions would have been. That's one strike. The second strike. Look at Charandas Prasad as High Commissioner from Guyana to India. You guys just look at his behavior. You know, the PPP never seems to surprise me with the type of characters that they put in these positions. You know, and Barry Jagdeo have the nerve.
Look at who sits there as the president. 19 fraud charges. The Canadians blocked him from going there. The only reason that he's allowed to go there now is because he sits there with the title of president of the country, and because of the Geneva Convention and the UN Charter and so forth, they're allowed to travel. They are allowed to travel without being touched. But if he was not the president of Guyana, he probably would have already been indicted in Canada for something. He knows what. He knows what. But go ahead, Mr. Caesar.
But Mark, going back to it, and Barry Jagdeo has the nerve to call the Honorable Cathy Hughes low life. Now, when you look at the way Charandas Prasad would have handled that woman in India, look how he handled that woman with total disrespect. You know, I warn everyone, man, be careful who you curse. Be careful who you curse and who you handle.
And be careful who you stretch out your hand to grab Kia's rib from. Be careful with who you stretch out your hand to take Kia's rib from. All manner of things we're hearing that the PPP paid him, allegations, man. Yeah. 500,000 US and all manner of things. I don't know, but lots of question marks. Lots and lots of question marks for this former AFC guy. Lots and lots of question marks. Anyways, look, it is what it is. Sparks, And many of you old-timers from Brooklyn know Sparks, right? Sparks, take one. Mr. Caesar, we have other things, of course, to
Yes,
discuss.
yes. No, we can go ahead. We can go ahead now.
The cost of living and all these things. It's people are complaining left, right, and center in Guyana. Every day, people are crying out, not just for justice, but for equality across the board, better standard of living, better wages, all these things, but they're not getting it. But instead, this is what.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
You gotta get a wash bay man, you gotta get a dog food man, and you gotta get a man from Warlock. Mr. Caesar, cost of living is really, really sky high. And a Pleasance man too, don't forget that.
Well, you see, Mark, when the government is not making any type of effort to temper inflation and cost of living, this is what you will see. We had the same inflation here in the US, but of course the US is a functioning democracy, and they're going to work. It's a larger country, it's a more developed country. They have already tempered that. We expect that interest rates are going to be cutting for 2024 already. That's the prediction. That's my read on that. And in Guyana, while these larger countries have already, for the most part, tempered inflation and cost of living, in Guyana, we are in the same situation with no relief for Guyanese. Like I would have said, Mark, the Guyanese people are being sucked dry by this government. 6.5% increase looks good for somebody who is making, $2, $3, $4 million per year. But for somebody who is making, inadequate money, 6.5 adds up to nothing. And if the government really wanted to be a bit fair, they can give 6.5% to public servants and don't take anything for themselves. But these guys don't go without taking anything for themselves. They're already rich, and they're just trying to get richer. At whose cost? At the people, the cost of the people of Guyana. So I don't know how this is going to fix. It would take government intervention, and the government is not budging. We cannot address the inflation and cost of living issue, Mark, without the government being willing to participate.
Wicked regimes and corrupt regimes like the PPP, they do not participate in anything concerning the interests of the overall population. It's all about a few friends and family and corrupt individuals. That's all that is happening in Guyana. Mr. Caesar, folks, these corrupt PPP used the opposition in order to get them back in the parliament under the pretext of standing with one people, one nation, one destiny voice on the Venezuelan issue. As soon as that is over with, they're back to square one again, digging it in to the opposition folks, using them, abusing them, insulting them, gone back to persecuting citizens, going after citizens, discriminating, racial discrimination, economic discrimination, all manner of discriminations, right back front and center. They walked into parliament barefaced as they were, and dictatorial as the Speaker of the National Assembly was, to beg and grab and rob the nation of $25.9 billion additional monies. $25.9 billion again. Just rob the people barefaced. Grab their money just like that. Your take on that, sir, please.
Well, you see, Mark, the problem with this is that the PPPC is not transparent. When you're talking about taking out these large material amount of monies out of the natural resource fund, you need to make these decisions, if they're going to be nice, clean decisions, on a bipartisan basis. The PPPC just walks into parliament and just walks out back with whatever they feel like. And it has happened over and over again. And I understand that the opposition is at a disadvantage. But when you come into parliament, you have to come in with a strategy. Walk with the people. You understand me? Let the people be that person out there. Bring the people to parliament building or wherever it is that parliament, Arthur Convention Center, wherever it is. Let the people understand what is about to happen, right? We are not getting enough transparency also from the opposition. They've got to understand what is happening here. Okay, the PPPC is putting Guyana in a massive hole. Even come 2025, you have a change of government. It's going to be very, very difficult to implement anything right off the bat, Mark, because you're probably going to inherit a treasury that is empty. You know, you're going to inherit a lot of accounts that is close to rock bottom. So you're not going to have the necessary funds, Mark, to get a running start. So I think this is their strategy. I think this is one of their strategy because, Mark, to be honest, if the PPPC look at the statistics right now, it doesn't look good for them winning the 2025 elections. It does not look good.
That's why they have to prop things up. That is why they have to find ways to rig the system as they did in the 2020 general and regional elections. Those elections were rigged, and that is why the PPP is where they are today with a one-seat majority. And so they were able to give the other small party that probably didn't even get that seat, but found a way to give them that seat to make it appear that there's some sort of democracy or transparency in parliament. But the reason why that person was given that seat was so that they can control certain things in parliament. Like, for example, the deputy speaker, it went to a no-good guy named Schumann, a flat-foot hustler. And then it's now in the hands of some young doctor that we don't hear about. She has no voice, come from a peanut party that has absolutely no voice, nothing. And so that's the sort of setup that we saw coming out of the 2020 general and regional elections, and elections that before they got into office, they were crying out for fraud, and they were crying out for an elections petition and all manner of things. But they're the ones who ran to the court trying to block every election petitions hearing, every single one. They're the ones who were singing on the mountaintop in chutney, in soca, in calypso, in merengue, dancing, all manner of things. Guess what the name of that song was? SOP, show me your SOP, show me your S. So they suddenly stopped singing that song because that song is of no value to them anymore. They were merely brainwashing their support base and members of the international community into giving that false impression, that propaganda, that the coalition did some sort of rigging and that the coalition manipulated their SOPs. And that is why they're saying that the SOPs, 3+ years they're in office now, you're not hearing anything any longer about the SOPs, because the truth of the matter is nothing was wrong with the PNC's SOPs. Absolutely nothing. If anything was wrong with that, it would have come out of this fake commission of inquiry that they had into the 2020 general and regional elections. If they were interested in the SOPs, all those people like Roxanne Myers and Lowenfield and Mingo and others that they wrongfully charged and that they are persecuting on some fictitious, electoral fraud matter, they would not have been having these people, their charges languishing in the court. The PPP has a heck of a lot to hide as it pertains to the 2020 general and regional elections. And in my opinion, by now all of you know it, that the PPP rigged the elections. And by virtue of that, they are considered an installed regime. If I have my way, after they're booted out of office next elections, I will go into the halls of parliament and ensure, of course, that those people who installed whomever president would not have the time of the day to be on the walls of our parliamentary building or whatever the case may be. But then again, it's over to the opposition. But like you would oftentimes say, Mr. C, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Mark, part of this also, we have to place at the feet of the Guyanese people. Listen, we cannot keep recycling the same failures. You understand me? When it comes to our politicians and leaders, there's no way that Barry Jagdeo should be anywhere close to where he's sitting right now. He has failed so many times. But what happened? He keeps getting recycled over and over, and he keeps doing the same thing. So therefore, the country is failing to move forward. Okay, because you have this tunnel vision, one-dimensional person who just looks inside of his own self and doesn't use any exterior resources. What Jagdeo says is what Jagdeo said. You cannot allow one man, you know what I mean, to demonstrate absolute power and individual. Sorry, I'll fix it. I'll fix it, Mark. Thank you. I remember that one individual. I will not say man.
A lunatic, I meant, not addressing the man. Is you a lunatic? It's a lunatic.
Yeah, you cannot have this one individual demonstrating absolute power, man. As a people, the Guyanese people need to grow up. We need to stop recycling these leaders. You know, just like how the people call on the leaders to be accountable, the Guyanese people have to examine themselves, and be prepared to vet these people that they're putting in charge of their patrimony, in charge of making decisions on their behalf. Look at these guys that you have sitting in government that is making decisions on behalf of the Guyanese people. Extremely reckless. Reckless, Mark. And then had the nerve today at his press conference to call out Mr. Christopher Ram. Now, if you take Christopher Ram and you put him with Barry Jagdeo, that man have way more character than Barry Jagdeo would ever have. I don't always agree, Mark, with everything that Christopher Ram says. But come on. If I have to choose between him and Jagdeo, I'm definitely going with Christopher Ram. You know? Come on. Look, Mark, we see Barry Jagdeo in the Vice video in the corner of his house, in that dark corner there, trying to make that corrupt deal. But yet you sending police officer to serve Rickford Burke in the United States when you should be getting served yourself. The guy in the police force is getting this thing backwards, man. They're not operating, you understand me, as an autonomous entity by no means. They're taking their orders from they know where. So that's where we stand. And listen, Mark, you see, that's the thing. Taxpayers is the one who's paying the price for all the reckless behavior. It is the taxpayers who are paying the price for that.
Yep.
And it shouldn't be.
8 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's 8 minutes after 10 o'clock in Guyana. As we prepare to pull the curtains down. I know you guys are getting all, fired up now, and you guys don't want us to go. But at some point in time, we've got to go. At today's so-called press conference, it wasn't really a press conference. It's a masquerade. It's a comedy show. That's just what it is, a comedy show run by a lunatic, a comic by the name of Barra Jagdeo.
Mark.
So at that so-called comedy show, he described Rickford Burke. He said that Burke sued somebody. And for saying that Burke's organization, CGID, is a one-man show. One-man show. Jagdeo made it clear that it wasn't a one-man show, that it's a half-man show. And now I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from. That Jagdeo feels that he has the God-given right to say anything at any time about people. And nobody should reciprocate. Nobody. People should shut up. So he feels comfortable addressing Rickford Burke as a half-man. Half-man. Jagdeo said that Rickford Burke is a half-man. I am not saying it, guys. Jagdeo said that Rickford Burke is a half-man. Well, if Rickford Burke is a half-man, then it is fair to say that Jagdeo is a quarter-man. Quarter-man. You know, this is the level. This is the level of discourse that people. I see Arlene Ruben saying he's a woman. I wouldn't even disrespect women by saying a thing like that is a woman. Quarter, a little inch, quarter, right? But the point is, he feels comfortable talking these things, going at that level in the mud. He doesn't care what he says because he's a madman. He's a Looney Tune. So he goes there and says all manner of things. And those so-called journalists, they sit there and have absolutely nothing to say. Nothing at all to say. They just, some of them skin their teeth. But you don't expect anything better from that guy who came out from the botanical garden, right? But to sit there and to address somebody as a half man, if somebody had done that to Irfaan Ali, call Irfaan Ali a half man, or Jagdeo a quarter man, then they, what is it they call the these organizations that go after people, man?
The ERC, the garbage?
ERC, then you would have here some sort of cybercrime something, then you would have had the LGBT community, SASA and all these people would have been coming after people. But none of them gonna go after Jagdeo. That particular comment, we can just safely say, coming from somebody who sits in that office, obviously, the message was clear that he was being homophobic with that particular thing, to address a man, address Rickford Burke as not a man, but a half man. What's the description of a half man? What do we know to be a half man? But the SASOD and these other organizations and ERC, they're not going to take Jagdeo up on that. They're going to ignore him, but anybody else, they'll go after.
That's why, Mark, I would say, and I'll say it again, the ERC should be decommissioned. I just find that organization to be garbage. I don't care who sits on it. You guys are garbage. Okay, you guys are biased in favor of the PPPC. You guys are there to protect the PPPC and there to attack individuals who seek to speak out against the installed government. That's the purpose of the ERC. You guys should be decommissioned. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. And you all across the board, I don't care who sits on the board. I don't care who sits on the board. You all should be embarrassed and ashamed of yourselves. Over to you, Mark.
Well, yeah, I was busy with Lemon on the other side while you say over to me. But I didn't realize that your closing remarks would have ended so fast. As we prepare to go into a new year, we'll have days of which we can address that. But very, very dark days. Dark days are there for Guyana. People are going to Jagdeo. They will target people under the PPP regime to do exactly what they have done in the past, kill people under the PPP regime. People died mysteriously under the PPP regime. People were assassinated under the PPP regime. People were dealt with all manner of trumped-up charges under the PPP regime, jailed and all manner of things, discriminated against, beaten, stuff thrown in their faces. Freddie Kissoon, smell him from all the way where he is right now, right? All these things happen under the corrupt PPP regime. I am not seeing a bright 2024 under the PPP regime. They have got to go next elections. They have got to go by every and any legal electoral means necessary. Over to you with your closing remarks, please, sir.
Yeah, and Mark, look, it's all in the hands of the people. We can put together all the advocacy we want to put together, but it ultimately comes down to the people and where they vote. And also it comes down to the electoral apparatus. We have to make sure that that's a well-oiled machine and working properly. It is bipartisan in nature, and we don't have what would have transpired in 2020 to reoccur again. So we have to be on our game from the perspective of the opposition. And these guys need to be on the ground. Listen, there's a saying that sometimes things get worse before it actually gets better. And I know we're coming down to the end of the year. And I would ask the Guyanese people, you know, to take 10 steps. I used this before on another show. Take 10 steps backward to take 2 massive steps forward. Let's go back. Let's bring back our values of prayers and being a good neighbor. And it takes an entire community to raise a child, man. I think we've rushed forward and we've forgotten some of our values. Let's get back to that. We have to be on one accord. The opposition needs to get out there. They need to edify and educate the people. They need to have functions. You know, Congress place need to be an active place in a positive way. All MPs, everybody need to rally around the leader, whomever it is a leader, or whenever you guys going to hold Congress, whatever it is, you guys need to rally around each other, work as a collective team, you know, and put forth that effort, because not because you're not in power, it means that you cannot do anything for the people. You have to keep working, whether you in power or not. You're all being paid. It's the taxpayers' money. You've taken the oath to serve and to work for the people. You need to execute your duties bang on. We're going in now to 2024, and we know that 2025 is going to be, you know, the year of the election. This year is a critical year. 2024 is a critical year. You need to get on the ground. You need to have the Guyanese people understand what is happening in the country. Let them understand what is happening in the country. We cannot continue to sit and posture in our AC offices or wherever we are. You know, we need to look into things to the people. Let 2024 be about the people, and let's just take it all the way into 2025. Mark, over to you. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much indeed. And before we go, we just want to let you guys know that you should continue to demonstrate and to continue to speak out against the ills and lots of corruption in Guyana under the PPP regime. We're seeing it every single day. These nincompoops do not believe in democracy at all. They have never, and we have seen the way the country ran for the 23 years that they were in office. And so the entire country, folks need to wake up. These guys are horrible guys running the country right now. Horrible. But Lemon has a message that he wants to send to this horrible, intellectually disfigured individual, a mental case individual in Guyana. Over to you, Lemon.
I want to say, okay, thank you. I can hear you, man. Lord of mercy. Uptown posse man, them love fresh. I want to hear say yes, I want to hear say yes. I miss the downtown posse man, them love fresh. I want to hear say yes, I want to hear say yes. I miss the all on the bed from morning, run go walla fresh. Go walla fresh, go walla fresh. All on the bed from evening, run go walla fresh. Go walla fresh, go walla. And when you wake up this morning and you don't walla fresh. Evening pass and you don't walla.
All right, thank you so much, Lemon. And those of you who know these old-time songs would understand exactly what it means. Ola fresh, Luna bait from morning, Rongo Ola fresh. If you know Ola fresh, they're trying to say Jagdeo is a dirty. All right, this is a guy we cannot allow him to go by addressing somebody as a half man. Half man. Imagine a quarter man. Quarter inch. Lots of noise back at your office there, Mr. Caesar, but a quarter inch man calling someone else a half man. That is what Guyana, and that is what the politics turn to under these corrupt son of a guns, under these corrupt individuals in the PPPC regime. And to all of you, every single one of you, Drew Young and all those guys, Keith and all of you, everybody know these sort of songs, right? All right. And so again, the guy that is sitting there, the guy that did what he had to do, the cash rip hand and so forth and so on. At the end of the day, those of you on Church Avenue know Sparks, right? So Sparks, Tech One. We leave this evening by saying thank you all so much. Mr. Caesar, as always, thank you so much. And we will be back, hopefully, if you have time tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow. We're not taking any day off, no Christmas break, no nothing. Even if we got to be on with you on Christmas Day, we will be on. Well, oops, hope Emma is not listening. But yes, we are here for you guys. Wayne, thank you so much. Give my regards to your mom. Give my regards to Ronair, and give my regards to your family as well. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mark. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. And to all of our listeners as well, thank you all so much. We'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. And so, um, quarter man, calling people half man. Something is wrong with that guy's head. Something is wrong with him. He's a madman. Something is wrong with him. Anyways, have a good night, guys. God bless you all and continue to pray for that beautiful country. Guyanese deserve better.
Yeah, my name is Jagdeo from Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Even our border. And from someone, a low life like that, you.
I'm in the mood, I'm feeling rude, I'm feeling hot, I want to run. The feeling exciting, so darling, let's do something. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love up. I wanna rub and kiss up. I wanna rub and jam up. I wanna rub and rub up. I wanna rub my body on your body. Rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body. Rub my body on your body. I just get paid. I want to play. The vibes is right. I wanna hook up tight. No time to waste. I wanna work my ways. So come on, face. Give me a taste. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love up. I wanna rub and kiss up. I wanna rub and jam up. I wanna rub and rub up. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Well, no. I'm feeling, 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 I'm feeling. Smoking my brain, I wanna do my thing. Work up a sweat until I soak in wet. Rub your body, show no mercy. Because I'm feeling tipsy, I'm feeling freaky. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body.